Stephanie Powers, we worked together. She worked with me in another series I did called Switch, and also in It Takes a Thief. And when I worked with Stephanie, I just loved her. I just felt that she was so there, and so the timing was so right, and she was just, I really thought she was one of the best ladies we had, and she was a lot of fun, great humor. And when the character of Jennifer Hart came up, Tom Mankiewicz, my dear friend, and hers, Tom really created Heart to Heart. It was his concept of the title and the characters of Jennifer and Jonathan. And when Jennifer came up, we both said, the girl to play this is Stephanie Powers. She is definitely the girl to play it. And they had some resistance to it. And then when they saw her and the chemistry, that was again a thing of chemistry, That was so fortunate, that because the chemistry worked between Stephanie and myself, and that's what made that show happen. And it's like with what I was talking about before with Malachi Throne. That when that character came up and he came in, I mean, we just hit it like that. We just, bang, we just hit it. And he was such a tremendous contributor to it. And it was so short-sighted of the studio not to say, hey, listen, send him to Italy. Of course he'll be great. I mean, Malachi could step on the stage and he'd light it up, It was short-sighted, I thought. God, there were so many. Susan St. James started on the show. I mean, that was kind of her first big gig, was with us, and she was so wonderful. I mean, I just adored her. She was fabulous. And I told you, we had Ricardo Montalban, who was a great friend, and he had a running character going on the show, and he brought so much to it. Betty Davis said some very nice things about my character and about how it was evolving. And she said, that I was a leading man that was bringing this kind of quality that used to exist in the movies, and I was very complimented about that. And I called her, and I knew her. And she said, oh, I love the show. I said, well, would you be on one? And she said, well, I'd love to be. And I said, okay, let me talk to the writers, and we'll try to come up with something for you. And so I talked to the writers, and they wrote this character called Bessie Grindle. Bessie Grindle, I think that was the name of it. Anyway, and she was a thief. And she loved the idea. And she came out to Los Angeles and did a couple of shows with me, which was spectacular to have Betty Davis, my God, on the show. It was super. I mean, she was so terrific, and she was there every day and on time, and she had a joyous time doing it. I mean, she was kicked in. She loved it. She had on a very kind of sexy kind of outfit, great legs. I said, Jesus, Betty, those legs. She said, well, I know. What can I do? Fantastic person, lovely lady. I mentioned Joseph Cotton. There's so many different people. Tina Louise was on it. Senta Berger, who I just adored, was in the pilot, and she came back and did more and with us. And when I was in Germany recently, I saw her, and she's still as beautiful today as she was then. And boy, she really stopped traffic. She stopped Alexander Mundy right in his tracks. The shooting in Rome, I think, came about because I got tired of me saying, come on, let's go to Italy, and let's make some shows in Italy. And I had lived in Italy for 3 years, and I kind of knew the whole kind of situation over there. I knew some people. I'd made several movies there. I worked for Vittorio De Sica over there, and Blake made The Panther there, and I just loved Italy. And Italy was very hot at that time. All of the whole production of the kind of international production all moved to Italy at that time. And I said, come on, let's go to Italy. Let's make a few pictures over there. And they said, okay. So we went, and Glenn Larson was writing ideas as we went. We started at the top in Venice, in Venezia, and we moved on down to Rome. And as we moved down toward Capri, he was writing all of these wonderful characters. As a matter of fact, I did a series, Heart to Heart, with Stephanie Powers and Lionel Stander. Lionel Stander played the character of Max. One of the characters that we had in It Takes a Thief when we were going through Italy was a character called Max, and it was played by Lionel. I had no idea. I had forgotten all about that. And when we started off with Heart to Heart, Tom Mankiewicz called me and he said, I've got the man in my office to play Max. And I walked in and there was Lionel. And I said, oh my God, couldn't be a better choice than that. I mean, what a character. If we could get him to play Max, it would be great. And of course he did, and he was so wonderful in the show. But yeah, Lionel played a character, a gangster called Max. And I had forgotten that. I had forgotten about that.